Welcome to a special video today where I am doing Draw My Life. I decided to do this today because it is my birthday. And I'm turning 19, so it's a big birthday here in Canada because you become the legal age to do everything. Well, not everything, but everything that's legal at the age of 19. So I decided to do this today. And there's going to be, and my life story is something that I've told lots of times over the last year. Shared things I've never shared with anybody I'm close to ever. People that I became close to really fast, found out about it. So today I'm going to do it. So anyway, hope you guys enjoy it, and here we go. So 19 years ago today, a little baby, two parent, well, I want to draw, oh, right. Today, okay, so 19 years ago today, two parents, my mom, and my dad, who already had a little daughter, who is my sister, who at the time was 2, had another little boy named Dylan, which is me. I was the out of the 3 kids they had, I was the biggest one. I was a little chubby, but that was alright. I was a happy kid. I loved playing outside. I always got myself hurt. Here's a story. One time, once I get this all gone, is there any way I can make this bigger? One time, when I think it was about 3, my mom was at my nan's. So my dad was looking at me. He had just finished mowing part of the lawn. We didn't have a big lawn at the time, but he finished mowing the lawn. And me, being me, decided I was going to go and touch the muffler. Because I'm not smart. Anyway, I got really bad burns on my hand. My dad called my mom, told her what happened, and they took me to the hospital. But this wasn't the first time I'd gone to the hospital. I just hurt myself all the time as a kid. So they took me to the hospital, things went fine. My fingers were basically melted together, so I couldn't really open them. But they did heal fine, so I'm fine now. Okay, but anyway, as life moved on, for as long as I can remember, we had video games. We had the NES, which me, my sister, and my father played all the time. It was something that gave us all joy and something that we shared together, so we would play it all the time. When my dad wasn't working, we played it. When he was working and me and my sister were home, me and her played it together. And the favorite game was Mario. The original Super Mario Bros. The first one was the one of the games I remember having first for the longest. And then we had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Then we had Super Mario Bros. We had a bunch of games, but Mario Um, the first one, Super Mario Bros. 3, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were the three main games I loved to play. And then eventually, well, that's the system. For that system, we had Super Mario Bros. And Super Mario Bros. 3. But then we had switched to Frank to SNES, and of course we still had some Mario games. I can't remember what Mario game we had for that. Or did we just have the special cartridge? I think we just had the special cartridge that let us play the original NES games. So me and my sister continued to play Super Mario Bros. 1 and Super Mario Bros. 3. But then we got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I never beat it. I could just never beat it. Even years after, I could never beat it because it never saved, as you all know. So, which we didn't really know anything about game saving. It wasn't a thing. So there was no saving. So we didn't really think anything of it. Like, why is there no saving? Because that just doesn't happen in video games. You just did what you just played the game and tried to beat it in one go, and if you didn't, then you didn't, right? But anyway, as years went on, I started at I went to preschool at the age of 4, and at the time I met my first best friend. His name was Jarrett. Me and him played together. We did everything together. But after a while, we started to grow. Well, not really after a while. Like, even through, like, the first 2 years of elementary school, we were still best friends. But great primary and one, I guess. Kindergarten, if you will, is what I guess primary is called in some places. And then, so we still taught in grade 1, but then I moved. This was where everything started to go wrong. We moved to a little town. We moved from Hilden to Brookfield, and at first, I was popular. I had lots of friends when I got there, but then as the years went on, things changed. I started getting bullied, which is why I'm a big supporter on anti-bullying and stuff. Like, bullying is the worst thing. Bullying was the reason for my downfall. For socializing, I became antisocial. No, it's not an L. I need that. Antisocial. I basically hid in my room and just didn't do anything. And thinking about it, this was when I was young, like really young, where you're not supposed to have worries about any of this stuff. But by the age of 7, I had started smoking cigarettes, which helped calm my nerves down so I wasn't worrying all the time. I wasn't just. I wasn't. I just wasn't nervous all the time about doing stuff. So, cigarettes, that doesn't give you a reason to smoke. I know I still do, but that's just because. Yeah. But that's not a reason to smoke. It's just at that age I didn't know. I just knew that I could easily get it. My parents wouldn't know because of the way how many cigarettes there would be at once. So at night I stole cigarettes and I smoked them. But that didn't last forever. Bullying continued. I couldn't do anything about it because the teachers wouldn't do anything. They just didn't care. So like whatever, you'll get over it, kind of thing. So a few years went on, about 3 years. At the age of 10, started smoking pot, marijuana, if you will, and that was an even bigger relief on reality than the cigarettes were. It just it made me feel better. It made me happy. It made it so that I could put on a real smile and have real laughs and just not worry about what other people were thinking about me. And it's just, I was like, okay, this works. Might as well do it. I tried everything else. I tried to deal with the bullying directly. I tried everything. Nothing seems to work, but this is working. And so for a few years, I did that, and it alone worked for about 2 years, and that's when I discovered I had some musical talents. I would play I'd play guitar, and I wasn't very good. I'm still not very good at it at all. I know the basics, but that's about it. And then and then I tried, like, growing up, me and my cousins would pretend we were in a rock band. We actually did try to do cover songs, but none of us really knew what we were doing. I mean, the drums were the only thing that we could actually do because you just needed to keep a four beat, four, whatever you want to call it. I can't even remember right now. But anyway, that's what we did. But I couldn't play guitar, so eventually I tried to sing. I didn't really know anything about vocals keeping keeping the pitch with the beat. I just was like, okay, I love music. I want to do something in music. But at the time, I didn't know what rap was. I thought it was just another type of music, like singing. I knew nothing about it. So I just wrote songs that has things work. I mean, it was easier back then because I wasn't worried about, okay, does this rhyme with this? Does this have the same syllables as this? I just had to worry about what was going to be on the paper. That's it. So I just kept on doing that. I did that for about like 6 months, and then I discovered what rap really was. It was about the time that my dad and my parents had split up for a little bit. I was at my dad's just on YouTube looking up songs, and Lil Wayne came up, and so I kept looking up his songs. I was like, okay, this is pretty good. I think I can do this. It doesn't seem that hard. So I just started practicing a song called Drawl the World by Lil Wayne and Eminem. And I got really good at doing the song. I was able to make it sound when I was angry. I was able to make it sound when there wasn't really a whole lot of emotions in it. I was able to do all that, no problem. So rap became my life. I had announced it on Facebook. At the time, I literally just got into Facebook. I announced on Facebook that I was going to become a rapper, that I was going to start rapping. And that's when all the praises and stuff came in. And that's like, okay, people like me for this. So I continued doing that. I didn't. And then as I get older, I realized, okay, the stuff that I've been listening to is not. Is not. Like, most of it, especially, no offense to Lil Wayne, he's a great rapper, but the stuff that they talk about is not appropriate for anybody to listen to. Doesn't matter how old you are. Discriminating against women and drugs is not a way to get money. So I stopped listening to that as soon as I found another rapper who is amazing, who doesn't discriminate women in most of the songs. I will admit, most of the songs he does discriminates against some women, but not a whole lot. And he doesn't glamorize drugs either. Actually, the first song that has drugs and women in it is A Blunt and a Hoe, which is a good song, but it discriminates against some women in the chorus a little bit and stuff like that, and it's kind of gross. But this rapper became my inspiration for what I want to do. He's an independent rapper, one of the biggest ones in the world, and his name is Tech 9. He became so influential that it changed my outlook on life. I was like, okay, this guy has gone through some shit, and he is living life happy, and he is just loving the way things are going. I mean, even I think it was only his girlfriend, maybe. No, I think it was just his girlfriend. They might have been married. I can't remember. But they split up because he was following music, but they are still great friends. He's allowed to keep in contact with his kids and everything. And it's like, okay, you can split up. It's like, okay, if you get a girlfriend and then have kids, you can split up. Yeah, you're gonna have to pay child support, but you guys can still be friends and not have to fight over the kids. You guys can just, okay, this is it, right? But anyway, a few years of that, about 4 or 5 years, it stopped working. Music wasn't helping. The Nothing was really working out for me. Like, I realized that people just were talking to me because they want to they want to say that if I do become big, they want to be able to say that they were friends with me, but that's not a reason to be friends with somebody. Like, it's just stupid. So I realized that, and then the pot wasn't working, cigarettes weren't working, the music started to not work because I realized, okay, I do love doing this, but it's not fixing the social issue I have within myself. So I turned to alcohol. I drank for the first time, and it felt great. And I just kept doing it. I didn't care how I got the liquor. I didn't care how I got the alcohol. As long as I had it, I was happy. But I was only happy when I was drunk. And then when I wasn't drunk, it was worse than it was before, so I would want to drink more and more and more. Now, I didn't put myself into hospital because of drinking, but it just wasn't happening. It was helping, but it wasn't helping if you get what I'm saying. Like, it was held at the time while I was drunk, but when I wasn't, it was 10 times worse than it was before. It wasn't a good thing to have. But also, at the same time, I was also got kicked out of my house, lost my job because I couldn't make it. So I had to find a way to get money, and that's when I started selling drugs, such as coke. What the fuck is this? Get out of here. Such as coke, ecstasy, meth, anything along those lines, just to get money. Now, don't get me wrong, I was making great money, but it wasn't, it wasn't right money. It was money that just it was dirty money. It just didn't feel right. So, but I didn't care. I was like, okay, I'm making more money than my parents are combined, so why not keep doing it? Why would I stop this when I can have whatever I want? Which anybody who gets that that much money doing whatever, whether it's legal or not, is gonna think that. Like, if you're not getting caught, then, like, right? And I never did get caught. But you get a burden deep inside because you're always looking over your shoulder, not just for the cops or your parents to catch you or anything like that. But when you're selling drugs for a gang, you have to watch over your shoulder to make sure you're not going to get shot, to make sure your family isn't going to get hurt. Especially when you did what I did. 2 years later. 2 years later, I didn't even inform them. I didn't give any hints. I just walked up, left, and the reason why I left is the reason that changed my life completely around. It helped me with my social issue. It helped me with my alcohol addiction. It almost helped me with my smoking, but smoking is a thing that's really hard to quit, and I just couldn't do it. As soon as I got back, it's like I want a cigarette, and I went out and got a cigarette. But I had gone to a place called Teen Challenge, which is not a place for teens. It was when it first got made by David Wilkerson, and I spelled that wrong but I'm too lazy to fix it. Anyway, it was built by David Wilkerson to help teens and gangs on New York to better their lives. Now, I'm not a Christian, but this is a faith-based Christian rehab that my mother sent me to. And I was afraid because, I'll tell you why I was really afraid after. Screw it, I'm going to tell you now. I am a pansexual, which means gender doesn't matter. I can date both girls and guys. So I was afraid that if I do end up coming out with that I'm going to be discriminated there because it's against the Bible to be gay, basically. Which I'm not gay, I'm pansexual, which means gender doesn't matter, which means I would date both female and male without it seeing like a difference. So that's what was me. But I soon learned that there was two openly gay guys there that had no problem. They were more liked by most of the guys there than some of the straight guys because they were nice and they were really trying to change their life in more ways than one that I don't believe they can control. It's just the way they are. They can control who they date and marry, but they can't control who they're sexually attracted to, basically. But I support them. One of them became my best friend there, and he still is. And I can't wait to see him when he's finished, because I left early. But anyway, so I went there. I met nice people, great supporters, and I changed my life for the better. I found out that I wasn't addicted to the alcohol as much as I was more just using it as a way to cope with stuff. I was not addicted to it because I can drink now with no problems. Whereas if you're addicted to something, you can't use it at all. I was using it to cope with my everyday life challenges that just wasn't going the way I wanted them to go. I still have those challenges today, but I cope with them better. I tell people I don't use drugs or alcohol or anything along those lines to make me feel better. Like, money was a big thing, where if I had so much money that money was what I thought would make me life mean something. But in the end, that's just a foreign object. That's just an object. It's not a person or anything like that. Where what I think you need people. You need friends and family to live through life. Whether that family is blood family or close friends that you now consider family, or just friends that you talk to, and you need those people to get through tough situations. You can't do it by your own. I never suggest going through depression or anxiety or anything like that on your own. Tell somebody, whether it's your parents, whether it's your doctor, whether it's a therapist, just tell somebody. But anyway, so I come back 6 months into my program and 6 months early, because the program is a year long. But the counselor we had there was really good, and I felt comfortable talking to her about everything, so I did, and she convinced me to openly go out about my sexuality, about what I believe in, And to my surprise, the guys there were so supportive that I was just like, okay, if these guys here who are against the gays and who are religious can support me for me being bisexual and an atheist, then the rest of the world can do that. And if they don't, that doesn't matter. What matters is the friends that I made here at this program, who I try to keep in contact as much as possible. And the other day, one of them, who I was close with, gave me a good old text. He texted me, asked me how I was doing, telling me that he was in New Brunswick, going to one of the guys' graduations there. And I was like, and I wish I could have gone, but I had no way to go because my mom had to take Jane to a hair appointment, and then I thought I was going to be working, so I wasn't on my schedule to go. I feel bad. I wish I could have went, but I'm glad I was able to see them at the graduation before that. But anyway, this guy texted me, and I thought at first someone had texted me saying something happened to George, which is this guy's name, but it was actually him asking me what's going on. And that was a great relief. I never thought I was going to talk to George, but he texted my mom. My mom gave him my cell phone number. And so we talked for a little bit. It wasn't nothing big or long. It was just seeing how each other's doing, what's going on and stuff. So that was great. That was just the other day. But now I'm 19. The big old 19. And I feel great. My life has changed so much over the last 11, 12 years that you wouldn't even believe the amount of support that I realized I had that I didn't see before, that I thought everybody was just against me. But yeah, this is my life story, and it's gonna continue for the next 50 years. Let's put it that way. 50 years. That's how long it's going to last. Another 50 years. Because I'm happy with who I am. I'm open on who I am on the internet. I mean, I just told you my whole life story. And there's nothing on there that I wouldn't want to change. This is who I am, and this is who I'll always be. But anyway, if you guys like this, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, and as always, comment for more. Just tell me what I can change and what else you want to see on this channel. So until next time, bye.